Greetings, our great investors and friends of the Draper Provisions and Library Cafe project here on Draper Road in Blacksburg, Virginia. As you well now know, we have achieved our $1 million goal of investment, and now it's time for a quick update on the construction on site. And of course, we waited for the lovely weather that we had last week when it was 60 or 70 degrees. Then we were going to record it yesterday, Saturday, and it was a torrential flood. And now it's snowing, a perfect time to give you an on-site update. Since we're already out here getting snowed on, let's cover the exterior first. Not a lot is going on, of course, here in the parking lot yet, even though what will be happening in the next month is this entire parking lot is being dug up to replace a sewer line. That's on the town of Blacksburg's bill. And once that's done, then we can reestablish all the curbing and everything out front, curbs around the side, and then re-pour all of the front sidewalk here. But let's start over in the back where the major project has been going on. So actually the bulk of what's happening outside has been happening back here in the alley, where we're really upgrading the property by putting in a 4 to 5 foot sidewalk, the length of the building, to the back door that's going to be taking all the deliveries and all the trash removal and everything else. This was supposed to be a 2-week project. We're closing it on 2 months now. And the fun part of that is we have to pay the town of Blacksburg $85 a day to have the alley closed, even though no one uses it with them. But that's a separate issue. We'll have the money to cover that. However, we're getting back on track now. This has been dug out even probably 5 feet lower than what you currently see. And the footer was poured for the eventual sidewalk. And now we have and backfill was put back in. And now we have the retaining wall frame that's set up. And we are supposed to be pouring that retaining wall tomorrow, weather permitting, on Monday. And once that happens, we're really off to the races. And once that dries up in the next week to 10 days, we can then come back in and finish off this component of the project. That will be the pour of the sidewalk. And then we'll be ready to come around and put up the curbing, the new Blacksburg regulated curbing with the inlaid brick around the sides. And we're off to the races here in the back. This is just to give you another angle from the opposite side of the alleyway of the retaining wall frame that's already set up and should be poured this week. And that's where the back door is. The back door is actually going to get moved over to this side that's currently bricked up. And I also wanted to just pan around, Katie. I also forgot part of the concrete pouring plan back here is we've already moved all the electric and the Verizon and Comcast stuff out of the way because we're pouring a big concrete pad here, because this is going to be the dumpster area, and we were required by code for garbage trucks coming in emptying dumpsters has to be able to take a certain load. So we're reinforcing and pouring concrete in here too. So major upgrades to the exterior of this building in the back, and that's before we even start in the front. But it's getting cold out here, so let's go inside and check out the interior. Okay, well, let's come on inside where the main door is currently, but this is, of course, where the main double doors are going to eventually be. And I wanted to start it outside because you're immediately going to see as you come in that we're already kind of blocked off here in terms of having the cooler in place. This is something I thought was going to happen much later in the process, but just the way it was ordered up front and it already arrived, and we said, well, okay, we needed to put it in before we framed with the walls. So this is going to be the front foyer when you walk into Draper Provisions, with a whole grab and go area with 12 to 14 different doors. This is already set up and good to go. We do have to install the refrigeration, but that becomes at a later point when they bring that system in and run it through the roof. Now, just to give you a tour of the entire area, now you're facing what will eventually be the gourmet grocery shop, the provision store. And you see that we already have some of the framed walls going up. That just started to occur last week, first week of January. And it's hard to see at this point, but come on around, Katie. A lot has happened even before we got to the point of framing up walls. This is where all the bathrooms and the back room is going. This is going to be the back kitchen wall. But if you come around this way, you'll see that a lot of work has already occurred that I can only now explain to you. And that is, from the vantage point you're at right now, you're looking at what will eventually be the entire kitchen area. And all the concrete that I'm standing on has already been ripped up and removed from here all the way to the far wall, because we had to do the under slab preparation. and that is we busted all this concrete up, just in this giant area, not the rest of the floor, to put in the underslab plumbing, the underslab electric, which has already been established, and then we re-poured the slab, and we angled the slab because it doesn't look like it right now, but these are trench drains that have gone in here, double set of trench drains, so that when we rebuild this whole kitchen area and we're cleaning the floors, everything drains to the middle. It's wonderful. We had to spend a bit more money on that, but every chef and every person who's ever worked in the kitchen will agree it's money well spent to have a great sloped floor with a trench drain for cleaning. So the under slab work for electric and plumbing is already done. The slab has been re-poured with the inset drains, and the work has already started on above ground now. The plumbing that has started going into the walls, and that's why framing is starting now, because we have to put up all the framing, and we can kind of walk through. You can see the back side of the cooler now from here. This is the freezer side, that's the cooler side. We already have the giant hood. This is a 16-foot hood that's going up on this wall above all of the kitchen, all the hot line in the kitchen. So the stoves, the ovens, the gas, the fryers, all that's going along this wall. And this giant hood will be above it with a fire suppression system embedded in it. That got delivered early on too, even though it's going to be a few more weeks before that gets installed. Now you're seeing the framing, the wall framing for the rest of the boxing into the kitchen. And now we can kind of go over to outside the kitchen. This will be the front counter area and the bar. And now we're on the library cafe side of things. And just to point out what else has been happening, as the framing is now going to be finished up this week, then the electricians and plumbers can finish roughing in all of the plumbing and electric into the walls. The HVAC has already started. You can see the brand new piping in the ceiling. So everything is kind of coming together in tandem here. In the next 30 to 60 days, the lion's share of this interior work is going to be done from the construction side. And I believe we are on track still, fingers crossed, for a rough opening date 3 months out, 4 months out from now. It's hard to tell exactly when we'll get all the finishing work done and floors and shelves and all that. That's the final stage, but we are well underway here in the construction phase, kind of on schedule now that we're up and running. And I think that's all I got. Katie, am I forgetting anything? So everything is happening. Most of the things have been ordered, the windows and doors. All that stuff has already been spec'd out and ordered and on its way in the coming 30 days. So we are progressing, and it looks pretty rough right now, but it looked way rougher just 30 or 60 days ago when it was just an empty shell. So we're pretty happy about progress. We hope you're happy about progress. And of course, if any of you want to come and take a personalized tour, because things will be moving pretty quickly starting from henceforth, by all means, just hit us up anytime. You can come over and check out the site. But for now, thank you all for all your support, and we look forward to making this come together into Blacksburg's next most awesome business.